All right, hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee with SamPaul, back for 2024. And we're at the Cafe 228 on Grote Street, which is a fantastic cafe run by my mate Jamie, local musician. So come and support the great small business. But what we're here for today is we have a returning guest. We had Sam back in season 1 to talk about her upcoming comedy show. And she's back with a new show. This is Sam's Intimate World, aka Samantha Binns. How you doing, Sam?
Good, how are you?
I am fantastic, as always.
Two great names. SamPaul and Sam. Yeah.
I never picked up on that, until just then. But yeah, so it's been almost a year, I think, since we first caught up. I started the show in February, and you were one of my early guests.
Yes.
Early adopted to the Coffee with SamPaul show.
Yes, I did Fringe last year.
Yep.
And that was a great experience. But this year I'm not doing Fringe. As you would know, having a teenager in your life is quite tricky.
Yep.
Also, I don't have any other support, so it's just 100% with my son. But that's great, and I'm enjoying life. I think to the fullest.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, that's what your show was kind of a little bit about, wasn't it? About living life to the fullest as a single woman. Yes,
I think after 20 years of marriage, and then thinking my life's over, and I'll tell you what, if I die tomorrow, I'll be a very happy woman.
I reckon if you had an open casket, you'd have the biggest smile on your face.
Yes. So I think with my other show coming up on the 9th of February, it's all about also saying how life has changed in the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And it's scary. And I can't believe my main focus probably is about going, people don't have any morals anymore.
No.
Or respect or manners. And I think that's important because I think we're all treating each other badly.
Yeah.
And I think that I've got to get it across, not that, anyone will listen to me, but it just really worries me about how we're raising this generation now without respect for each other.
Yes.
That's our biggest concern. And also everything's sexualised. So, which is sometimes good for me. Nearly spat your coffee out. But yeah, so my show is also about some other stories.
Yep.
About the year that I've taken off.
I can only but imagine.
Yeah, I know. So a lot of people I have sort of spoken to about it, they just can't believe that this has happened, and I can't believe it either.
Yeah.
I sometimes go to bed at night and think, wow, did that really just happen?
Yeah, right.
And it was amazing. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think we all kind of have some pretty amazing stories if we actually take this time to sit down and reflect on them, because like I myself have been working on writing a bit of an autobiography book, and I've shared some of the early chapters just to kind of get some feedback, and a lot of people have been like, oh wow, I can't believe that happened, but I think what you highlighted with what you described about your year is that we all do have stories, but not all of us sit back and reflect and put them down in paper or in a comedy show. And it's really great because I think that come across very relatable, because even though sometimes they're like, wow, it's like real life stories, and I just think it makes for a really great show in your sense.
And also the online dating's coming back on. But also this other thing has happened with all the scammers out there.
Oh, God, yeah.
They are horrendous. But guess what I've turned?
What?
I'm the scammer scamming the scammers. So I've turned it around. So when they ask me for money, iTunes vouchers and all of that, saying, I was going to ask if I could have $10,000, So I turn it all around. So I've got some really good stories with that.
But if you want to be a true scammer, you need to change your status on Facebook to widowed.
Yes.
And you need to be working in the armed forces of some sort.
Well,
Navy
I've got a very special story about an armed forces person.
For your show? Or?
Yes.
Okay, we better not talk too much about that.
Yeah, we won't. So come along and...
So will we get a bit of, because those of you that are watching that have seen you before, including myself, would be very familiar with the dating world kind of stories that you shared with your first show.
Yes.
Will we get any of that this time around?
There probably won't be a spreadsheet this time.
I had trouble following the spreadsheet. So.
I know. It was terrible. So there is some dating stories, but I think it's more about my experiences over the last year.
Yeah.
And I think everyone will appreciate it, and hopefully they love it. Yeah.
Cool.
And we'll talk about the elephant in the room.
Which is what?
SamPaul's doing the DJing after my show, which will be fabulous.
Yes, where are we holding it again?
We're holding it at the
Hectorville Football Club?
Yes.
Sporting Club?
At McGill.
So
my show starts at 8:30.
8:30, yeah, so get in early.
8:30. The doors open at 5:30. So
and they do food, don't they?
Yes,
yep,
food
so
and drinks.
Come down for a meal.
And there is one thing I would like to advertise.
Oh, God. No, come on, go for it.
So there is a chance that someone can win a $150 prize that night.
$150 worth of gift vouchers.
Yeah, no,
an iTunes card.
Yeah. No. This is a gift that we'll keep giving.
Okay.
So you could all come along and be in the draw to win a $150 gift bag.
Wow.
And
awesome.
yes, I'm just going to work out how I'm going to do that. Either we're going to raffle it off, or I'll get someone up on stage or
I
something.
reckon that'd be cool.
But I don't think some people don't have the confidence.
Yeah, but you know what? One thing I learned when I was a kid is that if you didn't have the confidence to put yourself out there in those kind of scenarios, you missed out.
Yeah, but also I think that this day and age, people just, I'm just got to think about that.
Yeah. Give it
because imagine if no one puts their hand up and comes up on stage.
I will.
Well,
I'm probably not eligible though because I'm DJing.
Yes,
tonight,
I know.
I reckon that would be pretty. I reckon you get people though. I reckon especially, like people had a few drinks, they let the guard down the bed, they get comfortable.
Yes.
And you say, hey, I got $150.
Yeah.
I reckon you'll be a surefire winner.
Yeah.
So we're kicking off at 8:30, or you're kicking off at 8:30.
Yep.
I think from memory you said I'm on from 10:30.
9:30, 10.
9:30, 10. Yeah.
The after party, which will be great. So there'll be lots of dancing and lots of fun, and it'll be a great night.
Yeah, and we're going to be playing some pretty classic tunes, I reckon.
I think so. I think we get back into the, good old 70s, 80s, 90s, and have a really good fun night.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What else can we tell people? Like, what else have you been doing like that isn't going to be in the show? Like, what's been happening in the last 12 months?
What, in my normal life?
Yeah.
Do I have a normal life?
Well, normal is a...
Yes.
Is it probably a normal?
I know. So, but generally my life's a bit of a balancing act. I've got a commercial property that I've got to look after.
Yep.
A teenage son that I've got to care for. But I'll give a little bit away. There's things about dating with a teenage son and also a dog.
Oh.
Yes, my dog has special needs.
Oh. Okay.
Yes. So there's a segment about that and how it can be tricky but funny at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
And have you road tested this show yet, or is this going to be the first time that anyone's going to get to see this new show?
Yeah. It's the first time anyone's going to see this show. So
I feel pretty excited.
Well, there will be a couple of little things from the last show.
Yeah.
That to get people in the mood. So
that's an interesting choice of words. Given
well,
what your
sorry.
first
Yes, I know. But the really wonderful thing is that I'm finding that I'm writing all the time.
Yeah.
So, and it's basically, so like for instance, I wrote another show the other day in half an hour.
Wow.
It came into my mind and I just wrote everything down, and I've got another hit show, I do believe. I've passed it through to one of my friends. Yeah. And she said, oh my God, that is just absolutely amazing.
Have you have you ever considered writing a book?
Well, I have, but I don't know. Yeah.
I honestly think, in this day and age, I think books to an extent are making a bit of a comeback, but audio versions as well. And I think if you were to voice the book, because people would know your voice from your shows.
Well, my voice isn't very good today because I'm getting over laryngitis. So
you say.
This isn't my husky voice. So hopefully it comes back, but if it doesn't, I'll just have to live with it.
I think husky would work well with the content of your show, though.
Well, I don't know.
It is pretty risque, isn't it, usually, your shows?
Yes, and it's also, we've got to say, 18 plus.
Yes, 18 plus.
So, and also you've got to be a little bit broad-minded and, yes,
which can be difficult to find these days. I think a lot of people have become super sensitive, to some things, these days. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing, but when it comes to comedy, I think you've got to expect to get, a bit out of your comfort zone.
Yes, and also I think what I touch on a lot of things that people don't want to talk about.
Which is great.
Like people don't want to talk about things this day and age, but it's really happening.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is great. And my last shows I've had a lot of feedback of saying how I've given them confidence,
great.
Men and women,
yeah.
to know what to do, what to expect, and how they can move forward with their lives and
definitely,
all of that.
Definitely.
So it's all been a positive. I haven't been heckled yet, so I'm thinking I don't know how I'm going to handle that, but I tell you what, they wouldn't want to know the response. Yeah. So it's all good.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. And I mean, me coming from a musical background, like, I find it's a really great platform to speak on stuff that, is sometimes difficult to talk about.
Yes.
And it does quite often open up that conversation, and it gives people confidence to both speak about it and also feel that they're not alone in that scenario.
Yes.
And I think what you do with your show, like from what I saw of the first one, is exactly the same. There'll be a lot of people out there that have found themselves in a position where they're going out in the dating scene
yes.
again later in life, and the landscape really has changed so much. It's great that you can use comedy as a way to help people.
Yes, and I think that's
realm.
really important, because I think that, I don't know whether it's people aren't happy anymore, people are lazy, people are, I don't know, they're not the same as what it was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even, there was no online dating.
No, there wasn't.
So we all went out, and I think that with life pressures at the moment, with the, cost of living going up, it's really difficult in that way to go out and meet someone.
Most
because
definitely.
you're either, I'll go out this month or next month. I mean,
exactly.
Clearly I sort of go out a little bit more than the normal person.
Oh, look, those that are in the entertainment, I think you have to. You kind of got to keep yourself out there.
Yes.
In that, and I guess by the same sort of token, yes, it costs you, like you and whoever runs shows, put money to put those shows
yes.
on, but you're not paying to go out like a regular punter. And like we were discussing off camera, quite often the drinking part of it starts after the show. So
yes,
you have a couple quiet ones to celebrate a good show, but you're not drinking through the night. And
well, you're saying I'm going to have a couple of quiet ones after my show.
Oh, I don't know.
After my show, I assure everyone I might have one or two before I get on stage.
For confidence.
But then there might be 800 after. So.
I thought I was insulting you by suggesting you were going to drink after the show.
No, because every time you've seen me, I've been hungover, i.e. like today. But it's okay. I'm used to it.
Oh, look, that.
Yeah.
Hangovers are just a reminder that we had a good night the night before.
Yeah. So I know the guys where I get my alcohol from, my wine, and I said to them the other day, I said as a joke, I said, do you think the bottles are smaller now than they were 20 years ago? And they turned around and say, no, Sam. And I said, well, it's really weird. 20 years ago, a bottle of wine would absolutely, I couldn't even get through a bottle of wine. And I said, it's really sad because I'm now opening up the second and the third maybe. And I said, no, I'm only joking. Oh, come on.
No, I don't.
I love a drink, and I think probably because I think the most important thing about what's happening in my life at the moment is I don't have to answer to anyone except myself.
Yeah.
And I've promised myself that, if someone comes into my life, which would be great, but I will never be told what to do.
Yeah.
And I will never tell anyone else what to do. And I think respect has to be the main thing.
100%.
Out of everything. And, I don't want to waste one more minute of being unhappy.
Life is too short.
Exactly.
As I learned the hard way when my mum passed away.
Yes.
There was no warning that she was going to pass away. She was, for all intents and purposes, healthy,
Yeah.
And that made me realise too that, you can't live a life unhappy.
Exactly.
So we're Friday the 9th of February, kicks off at 8:30, doors open at 5, and it's at
5:30.
Sorry, 5:30, sorry.
Yeah.
And it's at the Hectorville
Football Club.
Sporting Club.
And you can get food, you can have dinner, come along and have dinner, drinks. and it should be a great night.
And we'll put the ticket link down below in the description of the video, so if you're not sure where to look and where to go, can go there, or you can also look up Sam's Intimate World on Facebook, and all the information will be there too.
Yes.
Awesome. All right, well, thank you, Sam. And
you're welcome. Thank you.
I'll see you on the 9th.
All right.
Cool. Peace.